Well, I was very excited to be asked to come and do this. I'm interviewing my friend, the novelist Nikesh Shukla, and I was very excited to talk to him because we're mates, and he's a really interesting person, and there's a lot to talk about in terms of his career and the contribution he's made to kind of South Asians in the arts. But also, he's written a novel in which I am quite explicitly a direct inspiration for one of the characters. So I was mainly excited to ask him what the hell he was thinking. This is going to be probably the most boring answer you'll get to this question, but my favourite Asian writer is Salman Rushdie, and I would feel bad giving anyone else as an answer, given that I wrote my undergraduate dissertation in English literature about Salman Rushdie. When I was 11 or 12 years old, my dad bought me his children's book, which is called Haroon in the Sea of Stories, which is a sort of fusion of the Arabian Nights and The Wizard of Oz, and is a really just an incredible book and a kind of celebration of story. I mean, obviously I wasn't cognizant of this at the time, but if you examine it in context of what was going on in his life at that point, it's a real celebration of the writer's right to tell stories. And obviously, if you know what was happening to him at the time, it suddenly has a very sort of political resonance. But yeah, Haroon in the Sea of Stories. And then as I got older, I started to become more and more invested in his work. And I read and absolutely adored Midnight's Children. And The Moor's Last Sigh is another one of my favourite books. It's also one of the few books that has, along with The God of Small Things, a significant portion of it set in Kerala, which is the state that my family's from in India. And yeah, so I think particularly Haroon, Moor's Last Sigh, and Midnight's Children have been very definitive texts in terms of my reading history. Asking me when I first knew I was funny is a little bit... I mean, I'm still waiting for a 100% signed-on certification that I'm funny. I think it wasn't so much that I thought I was funny as it was, I was such a big comedy fan when I was growing up that I think, and I also grew up in a household that really prioritised a sense of humour really over anything else. When you spend more time with other people's families, you sort of realise everyone's being sort of nice and civilised with each other. And then I remember the way I brought up, and it was just constantly like everyone was just roasting each other the whole time. I don't think it was normal, but being funny was really important in my family. And I was such a big fan of stand-ups that I think I was immediately drawn to it as an occupation. Yeah, and I mean, in terms of, I didn't really know I could make a living as a comedian until 2013, when I was able to quit the day jobs that I was doing to support my hobby. I'm not sure to what extent. The things that people are always surprised about when they get to know me are that I really, really like whiskey and sport, which is quite off-brand for, I guess, what you would generally refer to as an absolutely textbook brown nerd. Like, in many ways, I'm a sort of classic Asian origin geek. Like Star Wars, check. Catastrophically late loss of virginity, double check. But the two things that I really like are I really like whiskey, and I'm also really into sport. I'm a massive football fan and a massive cricket fan. And in 1997, I was awarded Addiscombe Cricket Club's Clubman of the Year award, which was awarded to a boy who showed tremendous enthusiasm in the face of, and I quote, an overwhelming lack of ability. So, surprising fact, I love sport. Not surprising fact, I'm terrible at it. In the next couple of weeks, I will start doing my latest stand-up tour. The tour is called It's in Your Nature to Destroy Yourselves, which is a quote from the film Terminator 2, and I feel is apt for the times that we're living in. And there's a lot of jokes about Brexit, a lot about Trump. Just sort of, if I had to sum up the show in 3 bullet points, it would be: everything is terrible, our heroes have let us down, Racism is everywhere. Thanks for coming.